What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Schofield Motorsports YouTube channel. This is the I'm calling it now the 4-point HeHateMe, or wait, no, 4-point hate me, something like that. Who knows? That's stupid. Hey everybody, welcome to the Schofield Motorsports YouTube channel. Out here in the garage, back on the 1962 Ford Falcon, the Peanut Butter Falcon. If you've seen the movie, it's actually not a bad flick. Or He Hate Me. Sometimes I think the car hates me. It's kind of like Shrek. Every time you pull back a layer, there's more rust. Luckily, a lot of this rust in here is beneficial because it just saves wear and tear on the plasma cutter or the cutoff discs to get it out. Today I'm going to try to put in the Tin Man Fab subframe connectors. I'm going to do it mostly from the top so I don't have to lay under the car welding. Cut out this part of the floor back to the rear torque box. I'll get them tacked in from the top, and at some point soon going to make a tip over jig, and I'll flip the car up on its side and then finish welding them underneath. Had some issues yesterday getting these rear sections of the frame rails, the floor supports, even and parallel. Did a whole lot of measuring with an angle gauge, moving stuff around, then finally realized after a couple hours that if it just took this 1x1 square tubing right there, welded it to the pinch weld, and pulled it up tight, that pretty much puts those frame rails where they need to be. The frame rails and the rockers, top of the rockers, are within 1/10 of a degree of each other, and I think that's pretty damn close. What's still giving me some fits, which I think will wait till I get the cage and put the cowl back in, is depending on where you support the front end and where you jack it up, the fender aprons are just attached to the firewall, and there's nothing supporting the firewall, so the firewall is just flexing in and out. Good half inch or inch, so the front is moving up and down. But I've got the rear part of the frame rails located. They're in a good spot. If I put the subframe connectors in, that should lock them in. And then when we get to the point where the cage is in, which I've ordered some 2x3 120 wall tubing to make outriggers for wherever the roll cage is going to land. And then once I have the roll cage in, start piecing the floor back in after it. But once I have the roll cage in, there'll be it's a through the dash roll cage, so should be going through the dash somewhere in here. Then there'll be a dash bar running across between the down legs somewhere up in here. And then I've made these plates. There's this doubler plate, one on the inside of the firewall, one on the outside, or I guess a sandwich plate. There'll be a short tube off the inside going to the dash bar, and there'll be a tube from the outside coming over here to the stock shock tower and reinforcement plate. This part is removable, so that this can all come off to change the strut, change the spring, something like that. It'll come off just like it would on a on the factory car. If you notice here, I have these two tires sitting on this side of the frame rail. And get my hand out of the way. If you look real close, it is not sitting on the jack stand. And if you look at the angle gauge, the two front frame rails are not parallel. This one is up. Again, I think I will worry with that once I get to the roll cage installation and putting cowl back in. I need a little bit more weight. This is about, I think it's 3/10 or 4/10 of a degree up compared to the driver's side frame rail. So when I get ready to weld the cowl in, because the cowl is going to lock the firewall in place, and like I said, when you twist this front end around, lift it up, the firewall flexes quite a bit, so the cowl will lock that in, and again then the support. So what I'll do is get this exactly where it needs to go, weld the tube onto the support, and that should lock it in and put the front end where it needs to go. I guess the car has so much support rusted out of it that it's tweaked. Probably also, before I get too much welded in, I might get the door, see if we can adjust the door gaps, because I didn't realize it when I got the car. I thought maybe somebody monkeyed with the doors, but the top of the door is catching this piece of trim. You can actually see it was catching every time you'd open the door and try to peel this back. Right there. So it's one thing I've read online. Several people said that if the floor and this gets weakened, it allows it to go together. Although I don't know, the roof and the A-pillars are pretty solid, so I'm not really sure how much that could move. Now this side, the A-pillar support inside was pretty rusted out. That may have let the door sag, but it was happening on the driver's side too, and it's pretty solid. So of course, this isn't a restoration. This is not a show car. Hopefully it's a 9-second drag car that can take on drag week, and as long as the door is open and closed and latch, I think that's going to be good enough. I don't really have any plans for paint right now. I think it's just going to be patinaed. Overall, the outside of the car is not horrible, although the passenger fender, which is out in the shed, has a couple big rust spots and a big dent in it. But you know, it may just be character. Let it roll like that. Who knows? I think by the time I get done with the chassis, get the engine and transmission in and driving, I really won't feel like taking time to paint it anyway. That may be somewhere down the road. So I think I'm gonna get in here, get set up, get the fans on, because it's already getting pretty warm. Even though I'm here in Memphis, last night, 4th of July night, it was like 74. I sat outside in my backyard and watched fireworks without sweating. That's, you know, more like a late April, early May evening, or a September, October evening, rather than 4th of July. I'm not sure what's going on, because I know other places in the country, Pacific Northwest and Canada, are burning up. But it's cool here, so I like it. So back in a little bit.